Remember, please hit like and subscribe for me. Thank you so much. Okay, let's go. Hi, everyone. Today's Wednesday, December the 3rd, and this is the Moneyball Morning Report for the Benzinga Pro platform. My name is Anne-Marie Band. Charts by TrendSpider and Gamma Flows from MentorQ. So I begin the day today taking a look at the 30-minute with the heat map, showing that there is a large concentration of price action sitting right in this zone. That tells me that a break above here is going to send us into these gamma flows that are of significant resistance, right? To particularly look at 6,900. Ooh, the call wall has moved down, ladies and gentlemen. Very interesting. Put wall remains the same, 6,700. 6,700. 0DT call wall is our 6,870 level from yesterday that I mentioned in terms of potential breakout action. 0DT put wall, very tight, 6,850. So only 20 points between these two levels. Battleground today. And as you can see in the overnight, slightly long inventory, but they've already begun to correct. So what's the storyboard today? Dips continue to be buys, right? What's the line in the sand that's going to make us concerned about whether dips are going to hold? That is 68.37. It's the VWAP, it's a gamma level 3, and just below that, 68.28, we've got the point of control and the value area low. So what we do see is price action breaking to the north. It's broken out of the wedge. I think pullbacks easily buy zones and heading up to 68.70. A lot of folks talking about Santa Claus rally. You know, the Santa Claus rally doesn't normally occur until after Christmas. That being said, the entire month is got positive seasonality. Notice how these candlesticks are retracing each other, however. That's very important. Don't buy the breakouts. Don't sell the breakdowns. You're looking for dips of support to give you upside pressure. And we can see that there is a lot of inventory building. Let's see. Where can we put this box that makes sense? Inventory build is really the entire zone here down into the 68.40 region. So that's what I would look for. Inventory correction, not something that we might not see, certainly. We certainly could see it. All right, let's go to the NQ. Same sort of formation, bullish. Dips are still buys. Line in the sand looks like for support today. Line in the sand looks like 25,547. We do have an inventory build right from that 47 level, that 25,547, all the way up to 25,685. The call wall sits at 25,700. The put wall is sitting at 25,440. And we're sitting in between it. Just like yesterday, we had a ping pong event. Could it be that this is the breakout formation? Let's take a look at the heat map. Certainly, dip regions could come into 25,450 because the heat map formations don't really show the support ledge up here so much at this 25,540. So 25,450 looks a little bit like the support floor, but if we continue to build in this pocket up here, let's we break the call wall, what could we see? Certainly dips are buys. Dips are definitely buys. Just be careful and don't buy the breakout unless it's given you some measure of upside pressure. 25,800, next big gamma wall for us to stare down. When does this turn bearish? As I mentioned, it's got to lose 25,450 because this ledge of support is a clear structure that is going to hold price. So if something really dramatic shakes it up, what we will see is a reflexive bounce, sharp fade, and then a big bounce. So momentum sitting sideways both days. So that's definitely what we are looking at. Let's clone this again and put a downside pressure event. Yeah, that takes us to just below that 25,450. Point of control, 25,400. 1 day minimum, 25,300. All right, so let's take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin held the floor, right? It's up over the call wall, 93,000. That's good for the Bitcoin buyers. We did have a rejection zone, held very nicely. The 1 day max has been hit at 94,263, building a brand new area of support. Big floor. There's motion up here. Let's go to the 4 hour. Yeah, everything's really thin here, really thin. But look at this. We've broken out of the downward flow. So what should we do? Retest and break out again. This is the first time since the end of October, right? So it's been over a month that this trend line has been broken. And so this is giving us something that says higher lows, right? And higher highs. So it's definitely building some sort of wedge to the upside. Where could that be? VWAP is sitting at 95,000, 96,000, we'll call it. The call wall, we saw it yesterday, 93,000. They're going to see if they can try and get underneath this wall. 0DTE call wall way down at 91. Put wall at 90. That's crazy. These guys trading these options in micro Bitcoin or in Bitcoin are they're getting in trouble a lot. So what's the storyboard? As it sits, support floor 91,000 all the way to 90,000. Resistance could easily be these higher gamma lines. And then the big put support number has been sitting up here at 100,000 for a long time. It has not shifted. They refuse to bring it down. So that's pretty interesting. The traders just don't have this. And it could be, well, I'm not going to step into that. Yeah. So that's what we're staring down. Dips or buys. Watch the walkthrough for the gamma flows. 95,000, 96,000, and 97,000. Just clear walkthrough. However, I would not be surprised if we head all the way back down to 90. That's going to be the best space for a buy zone. So a lot of things happened in the crude oil base yesterday. Kind of a big deal. I don't know if it was actually yesterday or last week, but Canada has really turned the corner on what it's going to do with its oil and gas resources. Pretty impressive, if you ask me, since they have been very much climate control individuals, as it were. But things are really moving up. So we had a great big move in the overnight here. Unbelievable overnight motion. It's just accelerated. I think that's short covering. Looks a lot like short covering. Notice it came to the top of the heat map, right where value area high is, and it's rejected. So big storyboard here. What are we staring down? The 0 DTE call wall is well above call resistance by about 50 cents. Call the big call wall 60, the 0 DTE call wall $60.50. So those are likely targets if we break out of this zone. Currently, one-day max puts it at 59.82. That could move, especially since these call walls are sitting up here. It's bizarre. The put walls are both together. The put wall and the 0 DTE put wall, 58. So what do we expect? That's a very sharp fade, so we should have some unwind, and my suspicion is that that number looks like 59. If I want to trade this, I'm going to look at the range between this high. Let's hide the heat map, and let's use the Fibonacci from the high entering the value area and falling below the value area. The 50% level is way down here at 59. So would not be surprised to see that. That's also yesterday's anchored VWAP. Could you trade the short there? You could, but trend is steeply up. Momentum is steeply up. And what you have to see is a topping formation. So you might go, hey, isn't that it? Well, no, that's actually just a pullback into frontline support. It needs to tell you that it is not headed past that 59.60, or buyers are going to come in. Here's the anchored VWAP. They're buying off $59.35, going to move to $59.67, and then $59.80. That's what I suspect, but that's a pretty bullish pre-market move. Pretty bullish. All right, let's take a look at gold. Oops, wrong one. Gold holding the 4,200 area. Let's see where the heat map is. Bit thin. All right, let's go to the 4-hour. Also very, very thin. Okay, so they're trying to build a new leg, as it were. Here's the last area of support. And now they're dancing around here. What is the trend? Well, it depends. If I try to join these lines, it's still in downward flow. We are under the VWAP. This is a topping formation here. So the line to watch, if we get up over $4,260, we should easily try to traverse into 4,270 and 4,280. Where happens, this is where the value area high happens to be. So I would not be surprised if that is our trajectory. Now, I am of the mind that this is going to fade back into this zone, but I do not know. I do not know, especially since we are making higher lows and we just broke through the channel that has been downward. So two-way tape here. Overnight inventory was long into about 10 p.m. and then it completely reversed and now it's short. We actually are coming right into the opening formation. Look at that opening candle formation right here in this area. So this box really has been what we're staring down. Right, and that's giving us this region, but it's very sticky. It's very, very sticky. So let's clone this to see what kind of size. Yeah, not quite one-to-one. This is a value area low, but also a big line in the sand to watch at around 42.24. Price action looks very mixed. Looks very newsy. Oops. Yeah, it looks pretty newsy. Let's see if we can get up over here. All right, there we have it. I think this whole day looks super sticky. Super sticky. Yesterday we had range-based formation. Let's take a look at SPY next. Today, same thing. Range-based formation. Call wall. Wow, is that the 0 DTE call wall? Ooh, yeah. The big call wall is still at 700. The 0 DTE call wall is at 685. 0 DTE put wall, 675. This 10 points, very steady. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4. Today's the 5th day caught in this range. It's very sideways. They could be coiling for a break. So if they're coiling for a break, and we've got about, what is that, 8 points of motion out of the break, that would be 692 or so for upside pressure. And we can see we've got some clear gamma lines in that direction. As it sits, dips are buys. So we've got a high volume region at 679 to 680. The value area low for this region looks to be about 677. I think that's just a deep low. Certainly you could sell puts there. The call wall at 686 to 687 for one-day max. You know, you could sell the iron condor here in the morning, but if it breaks out here post-noon, you'd need to get out of this side for sure, because that is that's where the flow looks like it's pointing. It looks like it's pointing to the north. All right, that's it for me, folks. Pretty messy day ahead overall. You know, yeah, a lot of sideways motion. I'd be pretty careful. I'd be pretty careful. Just wait for your key setups, whether you trade the VWAP, whether you trade whatever you trade, anchoring, whatever you do, just wait for your key setups and let them run the show. All right, everyone, take care.